Browning are sharing and organizing. I'll read the time they've seated in here. Lynn Morfell should be up in front row. Stephen Pitts, Anushka Alborzian, and Haney Hong. And Mr. Maddox and Ms. Browning have time seated by Hua Win, Kim Miller, Andy Pla, Ryan Carlsgott, Rick Bates, and Murtaza Baksamusa for a total of 8 minutes. Do you want me to put 8 minutes on the clock and you'll just share your time, or do you want 4 and 4?
Yes, that's fine.
8, okay. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, Council President Cole and members of the City Council. And thank you for hearing us here today. I'm Keith Maddox with the San Diego and Imperial Counties Labor Council. We represent 125 local unions with 200,000 working families throughout the region. Today's vote's incredibly important to the families that we represent because it directly impacts a critical need for all of San Diego, making housing more affordable. Our success in passing rules for short-term vacation rentals is essential to making sure that housing becomes more affordable, not less. To enable local families to keep a roof over their head without worrying about their landlord will turn their home into a vacation rental to turn a bigger profit. To keep families that are buying a home for the first time from having to bid against large corporations with deep pockets. I'd like to thank the council members, Bree and Ward and Gomez, for the work that you've been doing on this and really holding the line on some of this. And I'd also like to thank the mayor and his staff, Elise Lowe and Amy Fawcett, for the work that they've done, for being willing to listen and come to the table to address some really tough challenges that are before us, and for listening to the issues and concerns of our members and our families in the communities and seeking solutions. And to listen to and understanding the need to secure affordable housing and preserve housing for our residents. We need to protect neighborhoods while providing a process for homeowners to rent out their residences. I would also like to thank the others on the committee and the council, as I know many of you have weighed in on this issue, as it affects every one of our neighborhoods. And our members who live in these communities, thank you as well for being willing to listen to them and to be willing to address this issue. I get it. I lived on the Gulf Coast for 20 years in a beach community. I know what it means to have unruly neighbors flowing in and out on a daily basis and what it does to the lives of those who live there. We've been working with the mayor on his proposals, and we're here today to stand in support, but with amendments that we would like to address. We support principal residence only with an accessory dwelling like a granny flat or a duplex on the property where homeowners live in those residences. We support requiring a neighborhood use permit for 4 bedrooms or more, not the 5 bedrooms currently in the proposal. We support the San Francisco Accountability Platform, much of which is in the proposal that we have today. And we're pleased to hear the staff recommendations that were made here today requiring the increase of fees for whole home and home share rentals, affirming the Nexus study, reaffirming the principles of the San Francisco Platform accountability, moving up the effective date to 2019, July 1 of 2019. We stand in support of all these recommendations. It's a fair compromise. It allows homeowners to rent out a room or two in their homes. It provides the opportunity for homeowners to rent their principal residence on a short-term basis with clear regulations. And it holds the Airbnbs and HomeAways accountable for their listings. It provides important safeguards for the city and for working families who live in these communities. What it doesn't do is allow for corporate investors to set up shop in every neighborhood, which is why principal residence only is so important, taking away much needed housing from working families and making housing more expensive. Again, I'd like to thank the council, the mayor and staff for being willing to listen and work with us on a difficult issue. And on behalf of the San Diego and Imperial Counties Labor Council, we stand in support and request that the City Council support the mayor's proposal with the amendments that we've requested.
Good afternoon. I'm Bridget Browning. I'm the president of Unite Here Local 30. We represent more than 5,000 hotel, gaming, and food service workers. I actually was going to say a lot of what Keith just said, and I did especially want to thank the mayor's staff and the mayor for being open to working with us. This is very personal for me because my members aren't going to be able to live in San Diego much longer. We've already seen them pushed out of District 3 and into 4, 8, and 9, and I'm watching them now being pushed out of those districts. And it's such a crime to me to think that people who are servicing the thousands of guests that are coming every day are going to have to travel huge distances just to get to work. That's not a sustainable plan going forward. We have always supported principal residence only. We believe that is the key to making this work. Because if the owner's on site, you're not going to have all these issues. And why would we care about investor-owned properties? I don't understand why we care about people living in other places making a lot of money. That's not what our values are. We believe that that's the best way to address the issues, and we hope that you will agree to those amendments that Keith outlined in what he said earlier. And we don't support out-of-town investors, corporations, LLCs buying 2, 3, 4, 5 single-family homes for the sole purpose of renting it out and making lots of money for them and damaging our communities. So we hope you support the ordinance with the suggested amendments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Lynn S. Morfeld, followed by Stephen Pitts, who should be up in the front row, followed by Anushka Alborzian, Haney Hong, Dr. Edith Frampton, Matthew Thompson. All of you should be in the front row. Lynn Morfeld has time seated by Troy Flanagan and Brian Pepin for a total of 3 minutes.
I'll be less than that, thank you. Council President, members of the City Council, I'm Lynn Morfeld, President and CEO of the California Hotel Association, here representing the interests of the hotels, from bed and breakfast to large hotels. You may have noticed recently, we think it's time. It's time to regulate short-term rentals, and I truly hope the council can reach consensus today. We've been at this far too long. As you all know, the hotel industry would prefer a solution that includes only renting out primary residence on a short-term basis. Our position has always been sharing yes, commercial no. That said, we're willing to compromise as well, and we applaud the mayor's efforts to keep the issue alive, and especially the amendments this morning, or revisions this morning. Whatever the council decides today, please make sure it includes accountability for Airbnb and others. Good accountability leads to effective enforcement, which goes a long way toward regulating out-of-control housing and the neighborhood situation that we've heard about this morning. Accountability, accountability, accountability. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Pitts is our next speaker. Mr. Pitts has time seated by Diana Pitts for a total of 2 minutes. He'll be followed by Anushka Alborzian, Haney Hong, Dr. Edith Frampton, Matthew Thompson, and Dennis Richardson, who should all be in the front row. Go ahead, sir.
Great, thank you. Council members, when I left the mayor's office a year ago, I never would have thought that a year later on my birthday, I would be here testifying to you for the very first time in front of council. But nevertheless, here I am. And it's because this issue is important. It's been going on for 3.5 years. I'll tell you what, until I recently moved to District 2 in Point Loma, I must freely admit I didn't even fully appreciate the gravity of the situation. I moved in April, my wife and I and our 2 kids, and 2 neighbors stopped by the very first day to check in on us. And one was a little cautious and opened the door, and she said, basically, thank God you guys aren't an Airbnb investor. I was really surprised by that, but lo and behold, I didn't realize that there was one up around the way, known for parties and that kind of thing. So I'll tell you, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen concerns in the neighborhoods. Like I said, I didn't fully appreciate it, but it is a thing. It's been going on for 3.5 years. You all have been working diligently, a few different times coming up just short of consensus. The mayor has a very good proposal before you all. We've just heard some folks are looking for a few amendments. I like primary only, but I'll tell you what, it would be a shame at the end of the day here if we didn't leave supporting at least what the mayor has on the table. It is a very good compromise, and I would ask that you all consider that when it comes time to vote, sounds like later this evening, that we don't leave here until we get this issue resolved once and for all. Thank you so much for your time. Madam Council President, thank you all.